first given this assignment, I thought about superheroes, policemen, and even doctors. But then I realized there was someone closer to me than that has done more than I've ever imagined. When we were first given this assignment, I thought it was just going to be a boring paper that I was going to mumble through, but then when I finally started this assignment, it turned out to be the total opposite. My grandfather's name was Thomas Michael Emerson, a 10-year-old white child living through the civil rights movement with not knowing what was going on. In 1960, when he was first exposed to equal rights of black and white people, he was living in Greensboro, Alabama with his parents. Around that area, his favorite place to eat was called Woolworth's, and it just happened to be on that day that sit-in started and their civil rights.
Looking at him like what?
Like he's done something wrong.
The front counter ain't no place for a black to be sitting. Those are just seats for privileges for whites.
But they did nothing. They did nothing wrong. They just sit there eating their food. They're not bothering anybody.
Just their existing is bothering everybody.
Bothering me.
Hush up, child, eat your food.
I still remember sitting at my grandfather's feet and tears welling up in his eyes while telling me that he never understood how people could be so cruel. The sad thing is that was the only beginning.
So what are those old kind of buses for?
What are you talking about, child?
On my way home, I saw this old bus drive by on my way home, but I never seen one like it before.
There's only one kind of buses. You need to get your act together.
Mother, there it is.
There what is?
The bus I was telling you about, and it's on fire. What happened?
Son, that's what happens when blacks think they can do the same thing as us.
But they can't.
No, they can't. Just drop it.
I just don't know.
That time was not the only time he didn't understand. He never understood why there was such a big deal about two different skin colors. My grandfather could never figure it out, not even as time went on.
What is going on?
Get away from that window. I forbid you to go outside. Don't even get close to that door.
But why?
Because I said so. Listen to your mother.
Fine, what did you say, Mother?
He had no idea at the time that he was looking for one of the most significant events in history. How many people in today's world can say that they were the first witness to the March on Washington? He may not have had an idea, but he was still there. And through hatred of his mother, he still wanted to be involved. This incident happened more than once in my grandfather's life.
What is going on?
Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time.
Shoot.
He knew if he was caught, his mother would have his hand in. I can remember sitting with him, hearing the fear in his voice. His mother was only scared by the sound of it. My grandfather was one who stood up for what he wanted when he believed.
Are you excited for vacation?
Oh my goodness, yes.
What do you want to do?
What was that?
My grandfather says that that day was the biggest argument him and his mother ever had. He told me that his mother told him that it's for the sake of the world that Dr. King was shot. He looked at her in his young age and said, no, it wasn't for the good of anyone. A man was dead. The man had a family and nothing, not even skin color was going to change that. That day was the day he dedicated his life to equality. He grew up and became a public speaker to let everyone know that they loved that they were loved no matter what the color of their skin. This is why he's my biggest hero and the reason why I chose him for the speech. Thank you.
Oh, it's a beautiful day out, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Reminds me of a particular day in 1961 when I was in Cuba. Kennedy sent me over there to watch for Fidel. I was undercover as his bodyguard.
Wait here. Yes, sir. Mr. President, all clear.
Prepare to die, Fidel. Bang! Bang! Ah!
What's wrong with you? You're an awful bodyguard.
Sorry, sir.
So what did Fidel do after that?
To punish me, he sent me to the weapons depot to make sure nobody messed with anything and the missiles were getting together smoothly.
What are you doing?
Building bomb. Why are you taking pictures?
To show Fidel that you're doing a good job. Okay, take a bro. Pick it up. Hello, Mr. President. I have just learned that they are building missiles. Yes, I'll send pictures now.
Good evening, my fellow citizens. This government, as promised, has maintained the closest surveillance of the Soviet military buildup on the island of Cuba. Within the past week, unmistakable evidence has established the fact that a series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on that imprisoned island.
Everything there was fine and dandy for a while. We would just hang out on the base and play cards with my comrades. But then, of course, there was some big deal in Russia. We had to send out a plane there. My best friend was the pilot, Francis Powers.
What's up, Francis?
What's up,
Hey, man,
Patrick?
you gotta stay safe while you're over there. in
Yeah,
Russia,
man,
okay?
I got you too.
Hey, man, if you get shot down, I will penetrate their forces to save you, man.
Alright, man, yeah, keep it real.
Hey, yeah. What? Francis was shot down! No! The Russians shot down my friend's airplane. I was scared he didn't make it, but he did.
Oh, how marvelous. What happened next?
I got sent over to Russia to be an undercover agent, but I also wanted to see my friend Francis. I was there to see what the Russians were up to. I found them making some type of aircraft that would go into outer space. I informed the president that they were building these rockets, and we started making missiles that could go into space too. We called them rocket ships.
Blast off in T-minus 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We sent people in these rockets, and Americans were the first people on the moon.
Did you go with them?
No, I had some more serious business to deal with.
And what was that?
We agreed to a treaty that eliminated the number of missiles that America and Russia could obtain. We called this SALT, Strategic Arms Elimination Treaty.
Wow, Mr. Penfield, you're amazing.
Oh, why, thank you. Everybody tells me that.
Susie, Mike, kind of come in for lunch.
Come on, it's time for lunch.
Well, hi. I'm Florist Rump. I don't know why they call me that. I haven't always been a florist. I've had many jobs in my day. You know, back in 1972, I was a janitor at the Watergate Hotel.
One time when I was sweeping the halls, I noticed there was a piece of tape on the lock of a door. I took it off, but later when I came back, I realized there was another piece of tape. But I never really thought anything of it again, and I carried on with my cleaning. When I was on my way home from the Watergate, I saw cops fly by. They looked like they were heading to the hotel, but I didn't think much about it. The next day when I was watching the news, I found out that there was some kind of break-in at the Watergate Hotel. Turns out people were trying to steal political information about some election.
We have a mystery story out of Washington. 5 people have been arrested and charged with breaking into the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee in the middle of the night.
The Democratic National Committee is located in the Watergate office building. The burglars forced a stairwell door, then taped its latch open. The door, now part of police evidence, was noticed by one of the guards employed by the Watergate complex. At first, the police found nothing. Then they spied 5 men crouching behind some desks.
Neither the president, obviously, or anybody in the White House, or anybody in authority in any of the committees working for the re-election of the president have any responsibility for it.
Those were the good old days. You know, one time I was a gardener at the city park. I took care of all kinds of lovely flowers.
One day when I was watering the flowers, there were some politicians or something wearing fancy expensive suits behind me, talking about covering up something. I thought they were talking about covering up the plants because there might have been a frost coming in later. I wondered why they were talking in such hushed voices. Later, when I finished with the plants, I thought back to those men. They said something about Nixon, the president or something. I thought back to the Watergate incident. Maybe they weren't talking about the flowers. Maybe they were talking about something bad they had done.
Yeah, I remember those days. You know, one time I was dating a Supreme Court justice. He was a fine lad, but I hadn't seen him for a whole week.
So I thought I would take him some lunch at work. I walked up to his office, and he done shut the door on me. So I walked around to the window to make sure he wasn't with another lady. I looked and saw Mr. President Nixon in the flesh. They were talking about some sort of business. Looked like Mr. Nixon got himself into some trouble. Now that I think about it, that's probably why he resigned, trying to get himself out of some trouble.
At that time in my life, it was getting real hard to make ends meet, so I took a job on the wardrobe crew at a broadcast station.
So I took a job in the wardrobe crew for a broadcast station. I was busy ironing some fancy suits and ties when I saw the name tags for the guests who were going to wear them. It was none other than Richard Nixon and some man with a cool last name. Oh, Frost, that was what it was. I had had so many other accidental run-ins with Nixon, I decided to stick around and see what all the hubbub was about. They were talking all serious-like, and that Frosty man sure asked a lot of questions about the Watergate incident. I guess they thought it was a big deal.
Excuse me, may I sit with you?
Of course.
Thank you. Excuse me, miss. Are you all right? You look worried.
Yes, I'm fine, dear. I'm just reading about Medicare. I was supposed to sign up for like 5 years ago, but I haven't got around to it yet.
Oh, well, my grandfather just got that. He says it's a great help.
Well, that's what I've heard, but I'm not sure. I haven't got to it yet. I remember when Medicare first came around. It was back in 1965. My grandmother thought it was a blessing.
Oh, I'm sure. My grandfather really said it's a great help. You should really look into it.
I think I will. Thanks.
Yeah.
Are you married?
Oh, engaged actually.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm engaged to the best guy in the world. I haven't told him yet, but I'm pregnant.
Congratulations again. Starting a family is a big step.
Thank you. Do you have a family of your own?
No, I don't. I was pregnant once, when I was 20. The father left as soon as he found out.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It was for the best, but thanks.
What did you do after you got pregnant?
I got an abortion, and I tried to put the past behind me. A few years later, I decided it was time for a change of scenery, so I moved back to New York. I moved to White Lake, and it was 1969. Do you know what happened that year?
No.
It was Woodstock.
Hey man, you're under arrest. Wait a minute, just wait. Hold on there. Just take time to enjoy the music and the aura. What's going on? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Do you understand the rules I have just explained to you? Yeah, man. After hearing these rules, do you have anything to say to me? No, I'm good. Let's go.
It was awesome till the end. There were so many people being arrested and being told their Miranda rights that I know them by heart. I could tell most of the policemen they were new and young to the force because they knew every little part.
Still sounds pretty awesome to me. Maybe not a wise choice, but awesome.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It was a blast.
May I sit down with you?
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
May I ask you a personal question?
Sure, go on and ask, dear.
Why did you decide to get an abortion?
I have my reasons. The father left us. I was only 20 years old, and I was broke. I didn't know the damage an abortion could do to me. It was years later when the public found out that the court case, Roe v. Wade, that abortions can be dangerous for the mother.
If you would have known that they were dangerous to your health back then, would you have still gotten one?
I don't know. My cousins always wanted kids. If I would have known it would have happened to her, I might have kept my child.
What happened to your cousin?
Well, have you heard of the Kent State Massacre?
Mm-mm.
It happened on May 4th, 1970. I remember the day well. It was supposed to be the first day of college, but you see I got sick.
Lily, just go to school on my first day tomorrow.
Linda, no. It's your first day of school. Just let me in. I can help you get ready.
Lily, you're a sophomore in college and I'm a 27-year-old trying just to restart my life. I will just be fine if I start today or if I start tomorrow. So please just go. I don't want you to get sick.
Come on, you're just another stick in the mud.
I never did go to school, you see. Lily listened to me and went to class that day without me. I wish now that I would have told her to stay and take care of my sick form. I wish I would have because the last conversation was that day, May 4th, 1970. I never cared to figure out what they did, but the National Guard came to the college and opened fire at school campus. Many were injured, but only 4 were killed. Lily was one of them.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry to just jump on your conversation. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to...
No, please stay. I don't mind if you heard one of the most horrible parts of my story.
Barbara.
I'm glad you could hear it as well.
Donna.
Sharing my life story helps me to prove that I've really been through all of this, and I know it made me ready for the rest of my life. Would you like to hear more of my story?
Siri, cancel my plans today. I'm now spending the day with
Linda.
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Hello, young man. What a crazy world we live in, huh?
Oh, sir, what are you doing?
Just reading my paper. You ever read paper? Crazy stuff. I mean, conspiracies, wars, and all the above. But you're probably too young to know about all that.
Yes, sir, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You want to hear a story? Kind of explain myself?
Sure.
Well, it all started.
Look, babe! Babe, look! Do you see that?
Yeah, I don't know how you wouldn't see them. Stupid, those planes are huge.
It's too sunny. They were big and gray. I'll tell you, kid, I was never so scared in my life. They looked like, I don't know, them Navy fighter planes or something. I knew they had somewhere to go. I just didn't know where. One day I was eating dinner with my wife, and this crazy newscast came on, something about Male.
First helicopters appeared over My Lai at 7:35 a.m. There was no hostile fire. Within 20 minutes, all 120 men and 5 officers of Charlie Company were landed.
Babe, are you watching this? Yeah, stupid, I'm right here.
I was fishing in the Gulf of Tonkin, and out of nowhere, I was shot right out of my boat. The water was cold.
How are you even alive right now?
My brother went through worse, kid. Do you ever watch the news?
No, I miss you, Bradley.
I miss you too, Shrimp.
Don't call me that. Mom's sitting out too.
Shut up. Okay.
Shut up.
My brother wrote me a lot of letters talking about all the kinds of different things that happened to him. You want to hear what he wrote me?
Dear Bradley, hey bub, how are you doing? Man, I miss everyone, more than you will ever know. The food here is always cold and nasty. I miss Mama's cooking. I miss everything about the States. There is so much death and just things I never thought I would see. I don't have too long to write this letter because we will drill soon, and I'll tell you, bub, if I could write you all day, I would. Well, better go. Here's some commotion outside. It is really hard over here. Can't wait to come home. Love you, bub. Pat.
Oh, man. I'll tell you, Bob, it was so scary out there. I'm not sure I'll ever go back.
You want to talk about it?
Well, as soon as we hit Saigon, we were, like, immediately evacuated. I mean, there was bombs going off everywhere. I don't think I ever ran so fast in my life. I swear, as soon as I got home, or got my butt on that helicopter, I was more than ready to flip that island off and go home.
Damn, sounds rough.
It was real rough.
Well, it's okay. Crazy, huh?
Jason, dinner's ready. Time to come in. You better wash your nasty, dirty hands, little boy. Come on. Thanks, mister. I learned a lot today. Coming, Mama.